to help us connect the dots, we are being joined by marketing communication strategist Olaotan Fawehinmi, a nation-building advocate and prolific writer whose insight bridge public relations, governance, and innovation. He is a global affiliate of the Chartered Institute of Public Relations UK, a member of the Public Relations and Communications Association UK, and a certified member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing in London. Olaotan has shaped campaigns for top-tier brands including ASOS, MasterCard Foundation, Stanbic IBTC, Jameson, and the Nigerian Heart Foundation. His thought leadership spans leading local and international platforms. Having just returned from China, he brings fresh perspective on what Nigeria can adapt, adopt, or avoid on its path to sustainable transformation. Thanks for joining us, Ola, on Business Insights.
Thank you so much for having me, Justin.
By now, I thought you'd be speaking a bit of a Mandarin. So how do I say welcome in Mandarin?
I don't know how to say welcome, but usually when you meet a Chinese, you say ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Okay, like anyhow. Ni hao.
Yeah, ni hao. Like
it's like hello.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So ni hao, Ola.
Yeah, ni hao.
Okay. Okay. So having been back from China, you know, you're a communication strategist. But what exactly stood out the most for you?
Quite a number of things, to be honest with you, Justin. And this is how it should be. We must always look beyond the borders, see what works, and see how we can replicate it back home. China is big on infrastructure, building infrastructure. I saw a lot of being deliberate, you know, in transforming not just a group of people, but an entire nation, right? And that starts from the mindset. So, you know, I'm sure you're going to say, a lot of times I'm always talking about mindset, because that's where it starts from. If the mindset is wrong, it affects every other thing.
Completely.
So what stood out for me is how they are deliberate about transformation. In a little over 4 decades, you have seen a massive shift from a country that was worse than Nigeria, become the second largest economy in the world. It's dramatic. It's almost unbelievable. But what do you have to attribute to that? They're deliberate. They knew what they wanted. They drew a roadmap to it. They invested in local manufacturing, innovation. They had a shift from, let's just keep producing. Keep producing. I mean, there was this saying, when you say it's chinko, you know how we used to say in Nigeria that you see something back in the day, you see something say it's chinko, and then you throw it away.
The inferior,
like it's inferior. That was the word. Yeah. It's inferior. It's a different conversation right now.
But they are producing for the entire world.
Exactly. So they moved from quantity, let's just produce it, let everybody just have it, whether it's good or bad. They've shifted into quality. Let's produce what the world needs and what can solve their problems.
All right.
Those are so few of so many things that stand out in how the government and the people of China have done a very seamless integration to ensure that development cuts across board.
Okay, I read your post on LinkedIn, and you emphasized China's commitment to cultural preservation.
Absolutely.
But how crucial is this? Now, let us bring it back home. You know, in our cultural identity, how can we use that in shaping our nation's brand?
You see, the funny thing is, there is a very subtle connection between culture and commerce. Most times we don't know.
Wow.
We think commerce is bringing in. I mean, Nigeria, we're very big on bringing in things from or using things that other people create, and that's because we are not even confident about what we are creating, and that's because what we are creating does not even meet up to standards. Okay, so culture. What I noticed, I've visited a few places where their culture is preserved. They would literally be happy to take you there to see something that happened several years ago and things like that. They understand that progress. They understand progress and preservation. Okay. If you look at an average Chinese person, he's not ashamed to let you know he's Chinese.
Chinese, yeah.
Whether to speak the language or to eat the food or to dress like one, they are proud of their heritage, their culture, what they do, what they know, and they are not ashamed to throw it to the rest of the world, right? So Nigeria has a lot to offer when it comes to culture, when it comes to our heritage. What we need to do is to package it, forgive me for using that word, package it and sell it to the world. Sell it to the world in such a way that we are proud of it ourselves and we let the world see that this is who we are. You have to buy into us. It is the level of what they see in us, what they're able to buy into us, that attract these people to us, and that's when they can invest in what we have. That's when our own economy can boom, right? Not when we are interested in what they are doing and we are paying for what they are doing. That's what shrinks our economy, because we do not do it here, so we have to get it from there.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So culture, I mean, we're doing well with Nollywood, not so well, but Nollywood is getting to the face of the world, Afrobeat is getting to the face of the world, fashion, to a large extent, the world is seeing it, and like, back in the days when we use Ankara to do baggy and jackets, right? I'm deliberate about these things. When I go outside the country, you will find an element of Nigeria on me, whether it's the Ankara or you find a muffler that is my mother's Ashoke or something like that. Those things are deliberate because I want you to know, I want you to see it and know, oh, this guy, you have an origins. Who are you? Where are you from? What is this? It will catch your attention because you would not see something like that in your own place.
True.
So that's how it works, and you have to do that across board. Whether we are producing food or beverage, or we're doing cocoa, or whatever it is, fashion, textile, whatever it is, we have to package it in such a way that they are interested in it. You talk about culture and heritage. How many of the very historical places that we
festivals
have,
as well,
festivals, are we still very much pushing and selling out, right? How many? There was a festival that they did, I think it was in February. The way they took it, I can't remember what it was. At the festival or something, maybe eggs or something, I can't remember what it is. But the way they spoke about it, the way they did it, they were so excited. There were people that traveled from different countries, Chinese that traveled to go home, to go and take part of that festival. And it brought a lot of people to the country. That's how it works. We really have to be proud of what we have, our culture, our heritage, and sell it to the world.
Okay, I just want you to still hammer on infrastructure. You mentioned that because infrastructure underpins productivity. But in your view, what are the top areas Nigeria must invest to unlock real economic value?
You see, let me start like this. China has an aging population.
Okay, and we have a youthful one.
That's it. In fact, back in the days when China wanted to start the revolution, like I'll call it, they would peg the number of children that you could have. You couldn't have, I think, more than 2. So people stopped having children. Right now, do you know that if you have children, the government will pay you? Yes. They are begging people to have children. Why?
I should go down here.
Just give that to 20. The government will pay you anyhow, but you are not Chinese, sorry. Well, I could just I don't think your skin color. I'm telling you why. Because they need people to take over when those who are aged, when they're gone. But Nigeria is the reverse. We have more young people.
We have an advantage there.
Yes, over 57% have still below 35. And that's an advantage for us. But then, what is the snag? They do not have the infrastructure that they need. They don't have the support that they need. They don't have the government backing that they need. So these guys can have all the ideas in the world. They can be energetic as much as they want to be. But if they don't have the support system on which they can build their ventures, at the end of the day, it becomes zero.
Wow.
Why do you think food is cheap in China? The government subsidizes it. So whether you're a private sector or you're in the private sector or you're an individual and you have a farm and it's big, you find the government coming to say, okay, you know what, let's split this thing. We'll give you the machinery, you work with your manpower, whatever you produce, we'll buy it off you. And then they sell it.
Wow.
Yes.
So the government always offtakes whatever they produce.
Absolutely. Let me shock you. If you have an ID, a Chinese ID, you can purchase a device and you get 20% off the cost. Guess what happens? The government pays the 20%. Because they want you to have a laptop that you can use to work.
Wow.
Because they want you to have a phone that you can use to work. Because they want you to be able to access internet and be productive.
Well, I think this I changed my name to Leak. I can't enjoy all of this subsidized, infrastructure and all of that. Why would I?
Let's bring it home.
Okay.
The average entrepreneur will sweat to do everything through and through. You are the one that will plan. You are the one that will do accountant. You would execute. You would sell.
You market.
You do everything. At the end of the day, there's still a policy that tells you that internet that you are buying 10 gigs for 2,000 has become 5 gigs. And so the small money that you are making from whatever it is you are doing before, and you see the internet, the fuel and everything eating into it, and then you're dovetailing. When you should have infrastructures, policies, environment that makes it easier for you to actually propel the plans that you have.
Yeah.
It's just so many things.
Okay, let's talk about one thing I know that China is big on, which is like a norm, cashless transactions. Everything is cashless. You don't see people carrying bills and showing off with cash and everything. I know our fintech ecosystem is getting there, and then we're trying to reach the unreached. But then what are the lessons that we can learn from that particular model?
Late last year I saw a report, I think it was by one of the big financial companies, and I realized that over, I think about 60-something% of Nigerians would rather still go for cash.
Wow, that's...
Yeah. I was, that was my expression. Yeah. Wow. In China, if you take a cab, if you take, what's equivalent to these yellow taxis, there's an app that you used to pay. You don't even have to type, you don't even have to enter your PIN or do anything. You just go on the app. He has a QR code. Okay. You go on your app, scan the QR code, shows you the amount. Yeah. Just confirm it. That's it. Taxi cab.
Oh, wow.
You see that lady, that's that small shop that's selling the water and chips.
Yes.
Has Alipay, has the QR code.
So the average kiosk owner can
I didn't touch cash one day throughout my stay. One day. Everything I did was paid through my phone.
Wow.
It was an app. It was seamless. It was seamless. All you just need to do is for the merchant. In fact, what's interesting was at the end of the day, I saw a breakdown of what was taking my money.
Wow.
So because the merchant is registered, they have a category.
Okay.
So if it's food, it's under food. Yeah. If it's electronics, it's under that. So at the end of the day, whatever it is you spend is going to the category where you have. Wow. So at the end of the day, you can send it to your account. Yes! From an application.
Wow.
It shows you everything. 20% of your spend was on food. 80% was on devices.
Very seamless.
It showed me everything. I mean, like, wow. So fintech, like you said, were built in it. But guess what? They didn't concentrate on the big cities, the Shenzhen, the Hong Kong, the Guangzhou. No, it goes into even the rural areas.
Wow.
How many places, apart from the cities, Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Onitsha, and the big cities, where you can seamlessly do banking transactions, you still find people say, oh, you're buying something, give me cash. I want cash. So we're still very cashless, and as long as that's happening, we're still going to have some setback in terms of financial inclusion and all that. I'm not sure we can meet the target of 2030, right? So Well, there's a lot that needs to be done, and all I would say is, again, like I always say every time I come here, there's a lot the government have to do for us.
That's also collaboration.
Making the environment conducive for the people. See, let me tell you, when the Chinese government set out to do what it is we see today, they weren't thinking of themselves. It wasn't just a group of people saying, okay, now we're in power, what can we get before we're out of here? It's what can we do for this country? And when you say what can we do for this country, we're saying what can we do for the people of this country.
It's people-centric.
Yeah. So there was a long-term plan. You see, in this my very wonderful country, we're always thinking quick wins. So if you want to start a business today, and in 3 months you want to cash out, you want to break even, it doesn't happen anywhere in the world. The infrastructure that they are building outside the world, in Europe, in Asia, they are not building them for 6 months or 1 year. They're not
for the long term, for 20, 30, 50 years.
When we are no longer here, what our children can take over and do, that's what they're building.
That's a good legacy, really.
Yes, so that's where it starts from. It might shift from quick wins to long-term benefits. Whether you are an individual that has a business, you're an organization, you're the government, let's first think long-term.
All right.
That's where it starts from.
Okay, yeah, I think that's one of the things I picked up from the article you posted on LinkedIn. You talked about disciplined execution.
Yes. Absolutely.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
You see, it's very funny, and for a place like Nigeria, where we have the brains and the people, I think, well, to a large extent, and forgive me, we do not have the discipline to execute.
Yeah.
So we come up with a policy and we're not thinking it through. Where does this start?
Yeah.
Where does it end? So it's easy to just look at the economy and say, oh, this thing is not working. Okay, let's introduce one policy by the CBN, and let's just launch it, and everybody is running. At the end of the day, you see that backfires. I can give tens of examples. That backfires. Why? Because it wasn't thought through.
Wow.
Yeah. We didn't check all the indices and ensure that this is where this is going to end.
Yeah.
When it comes to execution of policies, when it comes to execution of plans, we have to think through and through. We have to be disciplined about it. You see, a lot of things happen, and I'll give an example. In this Lagos, we've given some rules, some bans or some things, especially, okay, let me give an example. Okada, you see the shooting ride. I don't think maybe you've gone on the street recently, you'll be shocked at the number of Okadas that are on the road. So what happened to the policy that bans them in the first place?
Remember how
initial background. Yeah, that's it. So there's a lot of initial background. So we started like, do it, and then the next 3 months, nobody follows to anything. In a short while, we moved on to something else. Yeah. If in Nigeria we can just pick one thing, okay, say electricity. All right. Electricity, and just grip it and give it all it takes. There will be a lot of difference. Actually.
All right, thank you, Ola. So we're always running out of time when we have interesting to talk about. But then from language and identity to strategic investment and execution, today's conversation underscores a whole lot that we can actually learn from China, you know, to just bring back home here. Many thanks, Ola, for being part of the show, and of course the wonderful insight that you have dropped for our viewers.
Thank you, Justin.
All right. And indeed, thank you so much for all of you who have sat back to watch Business Insight. We'll return again same time next time. My name is Justin Akadoni. Many thanks for being a part of the show. And you can enjoy a replay on YouTube and join the conversation across our social media platforms. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and stay in business. Bye for now.